This interview we're gonna talk about your story, how you actually started your activism, So you started your activism and then up to where it is now.
Mhm.
So just give me a bit of background about who you were before you actually fled exile.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sanna. For those that don't know, my name is Killa Ace. Real name is Ali Cham. I was born in the Gambia, and I went to New York at the early age of 5 years old, where I was raised and I did my childhood. And in New York, the lifestyle was different there. I went to school there, and my father and my mother and my whole family were taken there back in the early 90s. And growing up in New York was an experience of its own, from being that child coming from Africa, coming to a new environment, and so on. And growing up in New York, that's basically where Killa Ace, became Killa Ace as an artist. Because back then, during school days, I used to rap. Like during school days, like my real name is Ali Cham, because I want to tell you how the name Killa Ace came about.
Okay.
My real name is Ali Cham. So during class, they used to call me AC, like Americans they like AC, and when they talk very fast, it sounds like Ace. So I added the E because I was always confident, and I added the E to the AC and made it Ace, because Ace means somebody that's number one.
Number one.
So I always felt I was number one.
Like top.
Like on top, exactly.
Okay.
So I added the E to make it ACE, Ace. And during school days and break time in school, we used to have like freestyles and rap battles during breaks or after school. And I used to battle like almost everybody that was within the class that had interest in rapping. So when we went battling, there was this particular time when I was battling this guy. His name was Charles, and it was very competitive. But then I roasted him. I defeated him so badly. Everybody that was there was chanting, "Ace is a killer, Ace is a killer, Ace is a killer." Basically meaning like, I killed Charles,
Yeah.
And I took that killer from Ace is a killer and added it to Ace, making it Killa Ace. And that's how the name Killa Ace came about.
So you're more like Ace the Killer.
Ace the Killer. And then it's been transformed to Killer on the mic, Ace and rap.
Okay.
And I was influenced to rap from my brother Matar. May his soul rest in peace. He was my older brother. I was the closest to him, and we were like twins back then. But he had his style. He used to dress, nice, look good. The girls liked him. He used to always have this little radio playing the new music, hip hop that was out there, especially DJ Clue. And I used to always follow his movement, and I wanted to be like him.
So you already like him?
Yeah, technically. So one day I was rapping inside of the living room, and he came to me. And he came behind my back. I was rapping, freestyling, some lyrics that I wrote, and he came behind my back. I didn't even know he was there, and he was listening. And when I was finished, he tapped me on my back and said, "You're gonna be a good rapper, keep it up." And that just inspired me and just gave me hope to become that rapper that I am today. And that's how the name Killa Ace and how I actually started rapping.
So just for the record, today you are very confident that you haven't disappointed your brother.
No, and that Ace, keep it up. You're gonna be a good rapper. It's something that I always keep in my mind, and that always motivates me. So that's how the name Killa Ace started, and that's how I actually started being a rapper. But in New York, I was hard-headed. I was very stubborn as a child. Getting in trouble, being suspended from school, hanging out with the people in the neighborhood. The bad boys, as they were saying. And I was really out of control. So my parents and my mother and father decided that it's time for me to come to Africa, so that I can learn my culture and know my true roots and know the main purpose of me going to America in the first place. Then they packed my bags and told me I was coming on holiday to Africa, right? So I was very excited that I was coming on a holiday, but they tricked me. They tricked me. It was actually a trick.
So you came to Africa, you never went back.
I never went back, and at that time I didn't have American papers, so I came to Africa and I never went back.
So basically, your parents want you to learn some African values.
Yes.
That's definitely different from the ones you are used to in America.
Absolutely.
Just answer this question. Have you learned any of those values?
Yeah.
Today, as a grown-up guy?
Absolutely, and that's how my raptivism started. Because when I came from New York and landed in Gambia, and I was on the Banjul Brikama Highway, going to my place of destination, which was, I think, Ibo Town at that time. From the airport, going to Ibo Town, I cried.
Why did you cry?
Because it was like a shocking sight. Like imagine coming from a place like America, a place like New York, with so much development, with so much good infrastructure, good systems, every child is in school, and you come to Africa and you see a whole bunch of red roads, it's dusty everywhere, you see kids selling water, you know, you see people who barefoot, and so many things that are just so opposite, you know, of where you just came from, and you're like, wow, this is really the real world, this is people are actually living like this, I can't believe this, and that made me cry. And from that moment, my subject matter as an artist changed, because I used to rap about the girls, the guns, the crack, the bling bling back in New York. But when I came to Africa, I realized that the struggle is real. So I cannot be rapping about guns and bling bling when people are in Africa suffering. And that's what changed my subject matter and turned me into that social rapper that I am today.
So basically your environment also inspires your rap.
Absolutely. And like they say, hip hop, you are a product of your environment.
Okay, let's get this, because people told me that, or from my findings, you actually started singing some songs before you actually turned on Jammeh.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the songs that you were singing?
Yeah. So basically, when I came to Gambia, you know, I was in Kotu Junior Secondary School. You know, I was also rapping there. I had a group of American friends that were in the same school, and we were rapping. I started performing at local clubs like California Nightclub and so on and so on. Fast forward, I met Kanasu Bars. You know, he was my childhood friend. He's white, but he was raised in Gambia, just like how I was raised in America as a child. And you know, we had this chemistry together, and then we started rapping. And when we started rapping, we were more on the lyrical consciousness tip, you know. And we came out with our first song was In the Ghetto. And that song was, hey yo, we in the ghetto, yo, you know we getting settled. The system is fucked up, we turning into rebels. Search for what we looking for until the day we take it. No matter how long it takes, one day we gonna make it. So our first recorded song was social. But it was at a time where, you know, the situation in the Gambia wasn't like this. So from there we built up, we came out with our first album in 2008. In late 2008, he went to France in 2009. I continued my mission, and I was always socially conscious, you know. In 2011, I released my project, Lyrical Assassination. You know, in 2012, still upsetting a set of mixtape. And then in 2013, that's when I dropped my ACE album, Another Critical Experiment album. And that album has so much social content in it. Like in a song called Frustration, where I talk about the day-to-day hardship of Gambians, you know, and so many other things. So I've always been talking and speaking to the system in my songs, but it wasn't as direct as Kuko Sigitigi, you know what I'm saying? But I'm coming. So I dropped songs like, you know, Frustration. Like I told you, it talked about the situation in Gambia, the hardship of the ladies that are going to the market with buckets of goods on their head, walking for a kilometer before they, and so many things, youths that are becoming frustrated, and so many other things, you know, inside of that song. And I also formed a youth movement, music movement called a Cypher. And the Cypher was a platform to showcase underground talent, you know. And what inspired the Cypher was we realized that hip hop in Gambia didn't have a platform. So I said it's about time we have our own platform. We don't have to wait for them to invite us to their shows. We don't care if they don't play our songs on the radio, because hip hop was sidelined. So the Cypher became a platform, and we organized monthly open mics in different neighborhoods. And each event was successful until it became one of the biggest music movements in Gambia. This is before Kuboka Zigitigi. And then in 2013, after a long struggle of trying to maintain my position in the Gambian music scene, I finally achieved something. And how would I describe that was, during that time, I was sidelined in the Gambian music industry. Like, my songs wasn't played on the radio, they would have shows not put me on there. So it was like a hard fight for me to actually establish myself as an artist.
Why were you actually sidelined? Was it because of the theme of your songs, or was it because of something different?
Well, there's a few reasons. One of the main reasons was hip hop was identified as some American music, some disrespectful music with just insults and so on and so on. And there was another kind of local music that was out at that time, which they wanted to market more and sideline hip hop, because that other music was more commercially beneficial to the stakeholders in the industry than those who had control of the industry. Unlike hip hop, to them, hip hop didn't have that audience, so it was sidelined. That's one of the main reasons. But we didn't care. We kept on pushing the Cypher. I kept on doing my thing with my loyal fans and kept on pushing it. And eventually, you know, boom, we hit the industry, and I had one of the biggest launches ever in Gambian music history.
So you've proven them wrong.
Proven them wrong, and that's how Team Gomsa Bopa, you know, actually started, but we're going to come to that later on.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So before we go to Kuboka Security, now that you've known that, like when you know that now you have a breakthrough, you already out there. You would have you would have basically inspired a lot of young people already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a whole movement of rappers are coming up now, and people are listening to their songs. They are giving them airtimes on the radios. Yeah. Tell me, how does that feel?
Yeah, it feels good because that was why we created the Cypher platform. A lot of rappers today jumped on the Cypher platform to actually, reach the level where they reached at today.
Give me examples.
Izzy T, Mike Jada, Benzin, so many people. The list can just go on. Okay. And we also had a rap competition where we would take 16 rappers from 16 neighborhoods and let them compete, which was called the Cypher Street Rap Battles. And the winner, at the end of the competition, would get up to $50,000, a free album, a free video clip, and other packages which were included. And that actually helped those artists, through the Cypher platform to actually, take it to that particular level. And eventually, hip hop was being played on the radio. We got our respect, and those same rappers organize their events, have their good fan base, and structure themselves as a artist. And that's so beautiful,
Now let's talk about Kuboka Security.
Yeah.
How did it come about? What inspired you to do and actually sing a song like that?
Yeah, when Kuboka Security came out, those that know Killa Ace and those that followed Killa Ace from the beginning, it wouldn't be a surprise that this is coming from Killa Ace. Because I've always been outspoken. I always talked about the system. I talked about Nawek. I had this very famous line that I used to perform in shows about Nawek, which is the electricity company. I used to say, why Nawek? Lan moo tax ba tey amoon electricity bu correct on and off rek connect disconnect mel ni discothèque lakka ngeen suma cassette deck ak suma ñaari television set.
Wow.
And when I performed that, everybody would just go crazy. And Nawek is part of the system. I talked about KMC. Mbedda bi tilim know what happened to KMC. Mosquito slaying us like how we slay MCs. Hey, Mr. Officer, lu tax nga koy brutalize. You're signed to serve and protect. Make sure you do it right. You're not above the law. Make sure you do respect the human rights. So I always talked about it. So if you follow the content of my music before Kuboka Security, you would understand he's always been somebody who was outspoken. So when Kuboka Security came out, what inspired me was I realized like it's time that I stopped beating around the bush and hit the nail on the head. Right? There was a time when Boko Haram kidnapped those girls in Nigeria. I did a song called Bring Back Our Girls.
The campaign, yeah?
The song went viral, played on BBC, it was big. And then I realized if I could do a song about something in Nigeria, then why can I not do a song about what's happening in my own country? It's hypocritical for me to talk about something that's happening somewhere else, and not talk about what's happening in my own country. That also inspired me, right? And two, the Yana Mar guys, the movement Yana Mar, with their rappers and singers, had a song, No to Impunity. And that song was big. They dissed Yaya Jammeh and talked about what's happening in the Gambia. Yeah. Then I realized if people from next door neighbor Senegal can talk about situations in our own country, and I'm a rapper, and rap is supposed to talk about issues in society, and I'm not doing that, then what value is it of me to be an artist? That also inspired me. And then it came at a time when so many things were happening in Gambia. Like things were getting crazy. It was just at the time when Yaya Jammeh was like, you cannot say that the country is hard. It was a time when, like in our local language, so you couldn't say like hard, and so many other things, plus my own personal experiences and experiences of people around me who have been victims of the system, whether it's police brutality, corruption, and so on. It was at a time when Yaya Jammeh was giving out so much money to all of these superstars, millions of dollars to superstars from other countries, whilst the hospitals in Gambia don't even have enough medicine, So all of those things that I just mentioned actually inspired me to just go all out on them.
And bam, you went.
And bam, I went.
It was a surprise because many people didn't see it coming.
Absolutely.
And you recorded this song in Senegal.
I recorded the song in Senegal. I was part of a festival called the Festa 2H Festival. It's an international hip-hop festival.
You still participate in that?
Yes, 13 countries are represented. And I was selected for 3 times to represent Gambia. So I said, okay, if I record this song in Gambia and the song is released and they know that I recorded it at Studio X, Y, or Z, they're gonna go to that studio, arrest the person, or shut it down. Yeah. So I said, let me come to Dakar, record the song, release it, and go back to Gambia.
So the song was basically recorded and released from Dakar?
They released from Dakar.
And then you went to Gambia after releasing the song? As
soon as I was waiting, because the internet was very poor at that moment. The plan was, I record the song, once the song is out, I go in Gambia. So I uploaded the song around 2 a.m. in the morning. It took like 1 hour for the song to upload, but once it uploaded, I jumped on a car and went back to Gambia.
So going to Gambia, you actually anticipated that something was going to happen?
I was at a point where I was like ready for whatever.
But you really want to just go on and do your
just do what I have to do and just let it happen. You know, whatever happens, I'm like, someone has to make the sacrifice. You know, it has to happen. And I didn't tell a lot of people because I knew if I told a lot of people, they would try to discourage me.
So what happened then when you got to Banjul?
Before, well, it's about what happened before I went to Banjul.
Okay.
Before I went to Banjul, the song was everywhere within 1 hour, being shared everywhere. Everyone's talking about it within an hour. By the time I reached Gambia, the song is everywhere.
So it was viral?
It was already viral. By 10 a.m. in the morning, it was on everybody's telephone. By 12 p.m., the authorities are looking for me. You know, so I'm in Gambia. I entered Gambia. I went to one of my homeboys' crib. You know, now I can say his name, thank God. My boy Lamin C. El Tigo.
Yeah.
I went to his house. You know, and he lived in Bundung. He lived at Bundung at that time. And I said, let me go stay there. You know, for the meantime, I understand the situation. Because by the time I arrived, they were calling, like, my managers called my wife at that time, threatening her, where's your husband? I'm receiving calls from so many different people, you know. So I said, okay, let me just stay here, study the situation, and then know what's my next move.
And that was it. Since you came back, you didn't go back to Gambia?
I didn't go back.
You stayed here and you have been like a refugee in Senegal?
Yeah, absolutely, you know, absolutely, you know. And what actually inspired me to leave, because my initial idea was not to leave Gambia. I did not have the plan to like leave Gambia, but the pressure was so high. It was so high at that moment, not just from the authorities, but like from people that are close to you. My mom, example, my sheikh, you know what I'm saying? Other people who are actually inspired and have experience in such things as such as activists who told me like, yo, it doesn't make any sense for you to stay in Gambia, get arrested, and you won't be able to continue your mission. You did the song, it's doing very well, the people need you. So go to a place which is safe and secure and continue the mission. And me being a logical person, it made sense to me. You know, my dad was a revolutionary. He's always been a revolutionary. He was like, stay in Gambia. Don't worry. I think it's better you stay in Gambia. You know, shout out to my dad. You know, he's hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you about it just before you go on.
Yeah.
You always talk about your mom in your songs, in your freestyles.
Yeah.
You hardly talk about your dad. Why is your dad?
No, I do talk about my dad most of the time. If you go on Facebook, I always post pictures of my dad. He was here at the studio, and he's a cool person. You know, he's a cool person. But you know, the mama's love is totally different from that's natural. You understand what I'm saying? It's totally different. But my dad is like somebody, my dad took me to America. My dad actually wanted a better future for me. That's why he took me to America. And so many other things, and he's very supportive of what I do, which is very rare in our society to have your father supporting you doing music. He plays my music in his car. He has my album in his car.
Wow.
You know, and when you see us chilling together, you think, you know, we're brothers. Wow. So shout out to Alaji Igucham as well, man, you know.
So today is really a proud dad. He's very proud of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, let's go to how you fled the Gambia.
Yeah.
How did you, left the Gambia and then come to Senegal? Did you come by flight? Did you travel by road? Were you sneaking your way in and out? Tell me about it. Just want to know.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into the exact details because we might have another dictator soon. You never know. And God forbid, we might have another dictator soon, so, and people will need to sneak out to that same way. You know, God forbid, anyway. But anyway, I snuck out through one of the borders, you know, through the Gambia-Senegal border. It's not the normal Karang border, but it was through one of these back way bushes, you know, into Casamas type of borders, you know, and it was a long journey.
And you were with your wife and your daughter?
Yeah, actually I came first and then my wife and my daughter came after.
Yeah.
My wife at that time, because I'm divorced now.
But while you were coming, oh, you're divorced now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but while you were coming, were you having this fear that you would be caught around the border or even make your way into Senegal?
I was paranoid as hell, man.
Really?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's like you're a fugitive. You're running, you know, and it's only right. But thank God, because I received so much information, even an NIA guy who is, if you don't know, the NIA is the National Intelligence Agency, because I have fans there. One of them called me like, Ace, your song is beautiful, you know, you did well, but get the hell out of here. And that was somebody that was worked within inside of me. Like, hurry up and get the hell out of here. If they catch you, you're gonna get roasted. You know, and I have also a family member, not to disclose his name. He's also a communication specialist. He also received like information that they really want to do something very bad to me. So I have all of these things in my mind. I'm like, whoo. So I was paranoid. I'm not gonna lie. I was paranoid when I was given, because once you capture like along that particular end of the Gambia, it's more riskier than being caught in Serekunda. Because if Serekunda is more populated. You understand? So if anything happens there, there's witnesses, there's so many things. But along the road that I was taking, if you caught there, they could just take you to the bush and slaughter you. Nobody would know. Example. So I had all of those things in mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna just take you a little back. You said you were divorced. I don't know whether it's okay to talk about it.
Sure.
But is it does it have anything to do with your activism, or is it something different? It's personal, or it's something you really want to share with people?
Yeah, I believe what inspired my divorce. I think I don't want to get too much into it, but I believe the struggle is real, and that's part of it.
Partly due to the struggle.
Yeah, partly due to it. Like, living in exile is not easy, man. Trust me. It's another life, man. Trust me. Yeah, so I think that's part of it.
So now your wife is in Banjul, your ex is in Banjul with your daughter.
Yeah.
You're still here on the struggle. Tell me, when you came in as a refugee, did you find some papers? Were you given some asylum by the Senegalese authorities?
Well, okay. I came because to my knowledge, once you seek asylum in Senegal, it guarantees your security and stuff like that. So, I filed in for papers, but the process was too complicated. Going back and forth. You have to go to the police inspector for him to sign a paper. You go there 5 times in a week, he's not there. And I just said, forget it. I cannot do this. Forget it. And then I realized it didn't have that much benefit to me as an artist, because I realized if I have asylum in Senegal and I wanted to have a show in America and the U.S. Embassy realized that I'm seeking asylum, they probably wouldn't give me a visa. So I realized it wasn't to my advantage, and I just scrapped that whole asylum thing and just lived like a typical ECOWAS citizen in Senegal.
So you have no papers and you don't care?
I got my passport and I'm an
No,
ECOWAS citizen.
Like asylum papers, you don't have no refugee status in Senegal?
No, I started the process, but I didn't complete it. The process, look, you come as a Gambian refugee, they know that you need papers, but there's so much bureaucracy involved. You have to go here and go there. You're supposed to meet this executive, and he's never there, and he gives you a date, you go there again, he's not there. And the transportation to be doing all of that is not even available, so it's not even worth it. Especially at a time when that should be easily provided for you. That should be like something that should be made easy for you as a refugee, considering your situation. That should be something that the officials should have prioritized.
Okay, now let's go to this Kuko Ace.
Yeah.
What happened after you moved to Senegal? What happened in terms of your activism? Did you have another plan in mind that once you were in Senegal, this is what you need to pursue? Or were you just waiting for something else to happen after you were here?
No, me, I'm always like, I always believe in just putting in hard work. No matter what situation, I believe as long as I have music, that music can get me out of the situation. Like, I got into the situation because of music, and I can get out of it because of music. So I came to Senegal, I kept on pushing, organizing events, press conferences, kept on putting out more music. I put out more music as a Gambian artist than any other Gambian artist in Gambia.
Wow, while you were in Senegal?
While I was in Senegal. Despite the hard times and the situations, and I've been putting in so much work, from the blogs to the music to attending events. I performed at all major events in Senegal, so I just kept on pushing and realized that this situation shouldn't, hold me down.
Now, you had a following, like the Cypher and then all the other platforms that were available when you were in Gambia.
Yeah, and my fan base, Aces.
Aces, okay. But when you moved to Senegal, I understand you had some problem because I was told even the Aces forum, you have been removed from the forum. Why were people trying to distance themselves from you? Because
no, I wasn't removed from the Aces forum. Actually, it was Africell. I was working at Afri Radio, which is Africell is a GSM company. I had a very big hip-hop show there called a Cypher. And they terminated my contract, and apparently, according to what I heard, they deleted all of my music.
Wow.
Yeah, but as far as Aces, I have to be very frank with them. Aces fan base have been one of the most loyal people to me. My fan base was still there, still organizing meetings despite the situation on the ground. Even though a lot of people wouldn't come, but they still kept on doing it, and so honestly, but a lot of people did distance themselves from me. A lot of people that I even helped out in life distance themselves from me. Some people would even come to Senegal, come to Dakar, and avoid me. Some people would take pictures and wouldn't want to upload it on Facebook. People that I really thought were real to me abandoned me, including family. Family, like close family members, and so on and so on. So I even uploaded on Facebook, like, am I a terrorist? Why is everybody trying to avoid me? Am I a terrorist? And I did this for y'all. I didn't even do this for me, because I was good in Gambia. I had my business. I was an established artist. And so on and so on.
So that's part of the downsides of being an activist.
Yeah, I mean, especially under a dictator, because people are scared, people are living in fear, you know. But I realize, but then I didn't blame them. I understand that you know it was the system that led to them thinking like that, and that's where I realized that my mission is to raise awareness, because once you're aware, you're not scared anymore. And that's where the activism or activism comes into play. Those people that are scared to come to Senegal, if you show them their civic rights and let them know that this is your right, this is your responsibility, and they don't know it, and you enlighten them, eventually they wouldn't do that. And look at the situation today.
With one.
So
I'll call it with one, right?
exactly.
Yeah. But how many other songs have you recorded? Because since you were here, you have recorded so many songs.
You know,
the idea going along with the same lyrics, the same speaking out, outspokenness about issues in the Gambia.
no, okay. You have Killa Ace, you have Ali Baba. You understand what I'm saying? And you have Prince Ali.
Wow.
Killa Ace actually is the lyrical Killa Ace. Is the guy who has the super lyrics, non-stop, hard, you know. And then you have, you know, the Ali Baba. You feel what I'm saying? That's that activist. You feel what I'm saying? So my lyrics, I have different songs, different lyrics. I give different audiences what they like. You feel what I'm saying? It wasn't like I was strictly concentrated on the political side of Gambia. If you realize, most of my songs didn't even concentrate on that. It was more about me showing how great of an artist I am. You understand? But coming to Senegal, I released a whole project, a mixtape called Jang Jang Bure Boss, right? I released like 4 songs prior to that. I used to do it every week, Freestyle Wednesdays on YouTube, freestyling every week. And the album was supposed to be an album, but now it's becoming a double album because of the amount of songs that I have. So now the album has to have 2 CDs.
Wow, that's gonna be hard. Now that Jammeh is gone, the struggle has won against Jammeh. What are your expectations? You hopefully planning to go out to Gambia. You're already promoting yourself.
Yeah.
You're launching on the album and then the freedom show, is that how you call it? Or the homecoming?
The homecoming, yeah. Yeah, I think Jammeh is gone, but Jammeh is still in Gambia. I think there's still a fight to be fought. You know, Jammeh was an individual, but Yaya Jammeh never used to arrest people. Yaya Jammeh never used to kill people. As an individual, it was people in the system working for Yaya Jammeh under him that were actually doing it, and those people were Gambians. And those same people with the same mentality and same ideology are still in Gambia. So I think the fight is still there. So we have to fight to take out that mindset of how we treat each other. I believe the change should not just be an executive change through authority, but it should also be a change of the people, of how we think, how we act, how we treat each other. That's the fight. That's the new fight, and that always have been the fight. The revolution of the minds and the hearts and the souls, but not just the revolution of one authority moving and another guy comes in. Nah, it's bigger than that.
So for you, going back means you're gonna continue what you've already started.
Team Gum Support movement. That's why when I go back, I'm gonna launch the Team Gum Support movement, a movement, a social movement that is gonna be concentrated on raising awareness to the youths and to the masses. You know, socially, economically, environmentally, and so on, and using our platform as music and different members' platforms, because we have members who are lawyers, people who are working at KMC, and so on. Everybody gonna use their particular platform to raise awareness, you know, within society, you know, and that's what the movement is gonna be about. And when we go back after launching the album, we're gonna have a workshop called "The Responsibility of Artists in Society" as our first main project in Gambia as Team Gum Support. And then on the following day, April 1st, I want to do a big comeback show at the Independence Stadium and launch my album at the Independence Stadium.
Yeah. Tell us more about the workshop. Why do you choose that theme about the responsibility of artists?
Yeah, I believe one of the main reasons why Gambia has been where it has been for a long time is because of the fact that artists did not play their role in society. I mean, Gambian artists, I believe, are more about their interests. They're more about having the most fans, more about organizing a show and making money, you know, and that's good. I want money. Everybody wants that. But it's bigger than that. When you have a following and people listen to you, I believe you should use your music to empower people. You should use your music to raise awareness. You shouldn't just be about that, but you should also take advantage of that opportunity to raise awareness for the people, to the people that are actually supporting you. Because if we had more people, even if they didn't do a direct Kuko song, but something that was going to raise awareness, I really believe their fans would have been aware. My fans would have been aware. More people would have been aware at the same time. So I believe being an artist and the responsibility of an artist is bigger than just having fame or being popular or just being hype. I believe every artist should be able to use their star power to affect change one way or another. Whether it's political, whether it's social, whether it's environmental, whether it's about female genital mutilation, whatever it may be, artists have a responsibility in society. So that's why we are going to organize that and bring about all stakeholders, from the producers to the managers to DJs, promoters, and we all talk about that. And hopefully in the new Gambia, artists can take more civic responsibility through their art and through their talent, instead of having the same repeat of artists like we had in the Jamia era who didn't even care about what the people were living like.
So are you hoping that the new administration, the government of President Barrow, is going to create a better environment for the artists than what we had on the Jamia?
Yeah, I expect so. I mean, we voted for change, and when we vote for change, we want a change and reform in everything that was not good during the Jamia era. So, of course, we expect that, but with people who have the know-how, because even in the Jamia era, they had that system in place for artists, but the people that were there, were not the right people. So even if you do have that and you don't have the right people who deserve those particular positions,
people as in competence, right?
As in competence, as in experience, as in know-how, as in being on the ground with the artists and know what the industry needs and so on. If you don't have the right people there, it's still pointless. So yes, I hope that they do bring change in that sector and also appoint people who can actually facilitate that area effectively.
Okay, Killa Ace, thank you very much for talking to me.
Thanks, Sanna. Thanks so much, man. Thanks
right,
for the beautiful interview, man.
Thanks, man.
Stay blessed. So the album is coming out March 17, and I also have a GoFundMe that is available to anybody that wants to donate. Because Gambians know I never asked them for money. When I came to Gambia, when I came from Gambia, they were like, let's open up a GoFundMe, it's hard in Dakar. I told them, no, cool. I don't want to make it seem like I came here and did the song because of money. But now I need that money. So I'm having an event. I don't have any main sponsor yet. So I think the GoFundMe would help in making that event successful. And the GoFundMe will be posted. And it's out there. So we don't underestimate no amount of money. $1, $10, $100, $1,000, $1 million. Just put it in there, man, to support the movement, man. And if you support that, then you're supporting the Gambian youth and you're supporting Gambia in general. Yeah, man.
That's good. I hope it goes as planned.
Thanks so much,
bro. Success, man.
Thanks so much.
Big things for the new Gambia.
And this is one of my best interviews so far, man.
Thanks, man, bro.
Peace, man.
My pleasure. All right.